Hey guys, we're back, and we're going to work on the lawnmower project some more. So, first off, I got a thing to talk to you about. We got some new t-shirts in the mail. They're pretty sweet. Have to check these out. Boom! We got our name logo on the back. Nothing on the front, because when you're wrenching on a car or a washing machine or your girlfriend's car or your ex-girlfriend's car, or who knows what you're wrenching on, you don't get the logo dirty, because we want everybody to know where it came from. Now, the sleeves are optional. You can always hack them off with a pair of scissors or a chainsaw, whatever you think is cooler. That's definitely Smoking Eagles Rod Shop approved. I've got a bunch of different sizes. So if anybody wants one, hit me up and I'll hook you up with a t-shirt. I think they're pretty sweet. Yeah, we're not trying to make a bunch of money or anything stupid. We're just having fun. So anyway, let us know. So on our lawnmower here, I pressure washed it the other day. You guys saw the video. We're going to do a little walk around here real quick and kind of look at it and see what shape it's in. Before, it was hard to tell, so I didn't want to do a walk around of it because it's super greasy and grimy and gross. So this is at my grandpa's house in a van, and this has probably been in that van since before I was born, and I'm 38 now, so this thing has been sitting for a long time waiting for me to fix it, apparently. So anyway, quick little walk around here, kind of looking at this thing. It looks like these are some old bicycle tires that my grandpa's hacked apart and put under here as some kind of a little vibration deterrent from the mower deck. This is obviously not factory here, but I believe this is the blade engagement and disengagement. I did a little bit of research on these mowers, and they made a whole bunch of different companies made them. They all look about the same. Some of them got different engines on them. Some of them got different steering on them and stuff, but they're all pretty basic, the same and interchangeable on parts and stuff. The really old ones, the blades are on the whole time. As they get a little bit newer and newer, you could disengage the blades and some things like that. But not 100% sure on what year this is. I have a model number. But of course there's no documentation on any of that stuff. This was actually purchased at a Western Auto at some point. I may try and find out a little more information on it if I can, but that may be all that I get, other than just finding out from guys on YouTube and Facebook. But anyway, yeah, so obviously this has been repaired here as we make our way. Oh, let's check the oil. See if Grandpa left any oil in this thing. I'll look down in there. Looks like there's some oil in there. Ugh. Oh yeah, look at that. That's clean. Look at that. Looks like vegetable oil. Now, knowing my grandpa like I do, my guess is he put this thing away and planned to fix it later, or let somebody else fix it later. Me. And he put fresh oil in it before he stored it. Now, he did tear it all apart, so the steering wasn't on it. The seat and stuff's all removed, which is the way it was when I got it out of the van. But he had it laying on its side, so I'm guessing the muffler and everything else is clear full of oil, because it's been sitting for 40 years soaking down through. If we get this thing running, it's going to smoke like a banshee. But I think that's actually probably pretty good, because it probably kept a lot of oil up in the valves and stuff, and that's why the engine's still free. I mean, look, I can just pull her over real easy. That may be because it's got 1 million hours on it and the rings are gone, but that remains to be seen. It's got cool clutch wheels on it. So if you look here, the wheels spin free, both of them. But when you turn this gear, it pulls the wheel. So there's some kind of a gear clutch system in there that I haven't had to pull it apart, I don't know, but there's a grease cert here. There's supposed to be one here. It's messing, so we'll have to replace that. There's one here. There's one on the outside of this wheel. This is the gear drive, transmission. I'm assuming forward and reverse. Nothing too fancy after that. You got your throttle. So basically you pull this and it engages the belt and allows the mower to move forward. You let off and it stops. From all the information I found online, max speed for these speed demons is 6 miles an hour, which doesn't sound very fast, but a little retrospect, my newer zero turn mower does 9 miles an hour. This will do 6 with no suspension, no nothing. I mean, the deck isn't even free floating. It's just bolted right to the damn frame. So 6 miles an hour on this thing is probably twice as fast as it should have went. But we'll find out. So you come around to this side. It's in pretty good shape. It's still got serial number. It's got all the information on the engine, so you can tell. I can tell exactly what it is. It tells me what oil to use. 520 oil in the winter, 30 in the summer. I got some 1030 or something we'll slap in there and get it going. Everything seems to be intact. Spark plug wire's been unattached. We'll pull this plug out, we'll clean that up. Carburetor linkage and stuff is all good. It looks like it's been lubed up halfway decent. Like I said, my grandpa's super thorough on everything. I'll pull the air cleaner, make sure it's not super gross. We'll check this transmission, make sure it's got oil in it. I've never worked on one before, on one of these mowers, but I assume this is the drain, this is the fill, like anything else. I'll pull this off, make sure we got gear oil in there. And then, yeah. Now the frame is busted right here. So like I said in the previous video, what we're going to do today is we're going to pull these bolts out of here. We're going to pull this seat bracket off of here. We're going to try and get this chunk of frame off. We're going to pull the deck off the bottom so we can get all the way around this pipe and see exactly what's going on. It looks like there's 4 bolts that go through the deck, and there's supposed to be one here, but it's been busted off when the frame broke. And so, and I know that because there's 4 bolts on the other side. So we'll pull the deck off of here, and then we'll pull these bolts off of here and get this off of here so we can get to that. I'm going to try and measure the ID of this frame and get a chunk of steel, bar or pipe or whatever I can get that'll fit that size, slide it in there. I'll drill a couple cross holes in it, maybe up and down and sideways, and then I'll weld that in there, spot weld that in there, maybe grind it down a little bit so it looks kind of decent. And then we'll weld this shut around there. It survived without this bolt in there for who knows how long before that broke. So I don't see any reason to have to put that bolt back through. Then we'll bolt the deck and stuff back on. We're not going to mow with this. I'm probably going to leave the blade off of it and just keep it off to the side somewhere in a broom closet hidden away. I'll tag it so it can be identified later. But then we can just cruise this thing in a parade or two. I found a cool little wagon. I'd like to have a wagon for the back of this. I found a cool little wagon online. If we can get this thing fired up and running, then we may do that, get a little wagon for it. There's a bunch, look at all these washers down here. It's like this has all been spaced up and this has been welded on here. That's not factory. Looks like this has been welded on a little bit. I guarantee this is my grandpa's doing. He worked on all this shit. He fixed all this stuff. This thing's probably broke 50 times and been patched back together before he gave up on it. My guess is he only had, I know he had a 220 arc welder. The old Lincoln arc welder, everybody's seen one, everybody's got one. That's the only welder my grandpa had. And so when this thin walled tubing broke for this frame, he probably didn't think he could weld that and it'd be strong enough. Or he may have had a newer motor or mower and just decided, hey, shove it shove it in a broom closet until it's important enough to fix. And so anyway, oh, this looks welded. Look, what's that all about? Look, there's a bolt and a nut welded on here. It looks like it's some kind of a spacer or something, and it's been welded onto there. I don't know what that is, but that's not going to help us go fast. So, I mean, I don't think we need it. It's just kind of cool checking this out and kind of seeing, hey, what's been fixed? What has been fixed? What, yeah. How many hours has somebody sat on this uncomfortable thing with no... I mean, look, you don't even put air in it. These are solid tires. You hit a pebble, you're feeling that, baby. I hate to hit a speed bump with that. Or a rabbit hole or something in a field. Man. Maybe we get this thing all done. Maybe, you know what? Maybe. If you guys think it would be cool, if we get this thing all put back together and we get it running halfway decent, maybe I'll sharpen the blade up, toss the blade on it one time, and throw the camera out there, and I'll mow the back yard here on this mower and see how it does. See how this cut does. Does it have that premium cut? Or is this thing just, you know, glorified push mower with a couple of wheels? I don't know. We might do that. We might not. We'll see what happens. But it's an idea. Let me know. Hit me up in the comments or something if that, if you guys think that would be funny or cool or just stupid. Anyway, yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. Me and my buddy Justin here, we're gonna start tearing this deck off. We'll stop part of the way through, maybe a time or two, and kind of explain what we're doing, or who knows, we may run into a hiccup or something, and let you guys check it out. But yeah, anyway, we'll see you in just a few. we got this thing all tore apart. Got the deck off of it. We got the motor off of it and the drive gear and everything. We figured out how this thing works. Pretty much what we thought, but we'll show you the inner workings here, and then we'll give you our game plan going forward, which is pretty close to what we were going to do before. But yeah, all right, so we got the motor off of here, and if you look right down here, you can see that we've got this pedal, and when you pull on this pedal here, it actually puts slack on this belt. And that is like your clutch, puts you in neutral. This is the drive off of the engine. This belt here is going to run the blades because the blades bolt right onto here. So when you want the blades engaged, you would pull on this lever and it pulls up, and you can see it puts tension on this belt, and that's going to engage the blades. When you let off of it, it's going to spin, the engine's going to spin free, and the blades are not going to turn. And then when you want to, so you would have it in neutral, let's say, you would push your clutch in, you would put it in forward or reverse, and that would engage the engine, and then you would let off, and then the gear, it's going to spin this pulley, which is going to spin your gear, and that's going to engage forward or reverse, whichever gear you select. And then when you want to stop, you would push this pedal in again, put it into neutral, and this is going to continue to spin free without turning your belt. And then you're going to let this back out, and it would be in neutral or forward or whatever gear that you selected. So we've been kind of eyeballing this. I don't know how fast this thing's going to go when we're done, and I know we're probably not going to do a whole lot of mowing with it. But if a guy was to pull this pulley off of here and pull this belt off of here, because they're probably bad, and got a smaller diameter pulley here and a little bit smaller diameter belt to keep tension on there, you could probably crank this baby up a little bit. And I don't know if it's going, I don't know. I'm sure there's some pulley conversion charts online somewhere. Maybe some of you guys have seen them or used them before. You know how that works. Hit me up, let me know in the comments there, and maybe we can change the diameter of this pulley and this belt, and we can speed this thing up. I know if we make it go faster, it's not going to be pulling any wheelies, and we don't want to make that pulley bigger and give it more torque. And it's, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we're not making a dragster out of this thing by any means, but yeah, it'd be nice to be able to just kind of cruise around. I'm guessing I'm going to have to figure out some kind of a throttle, to hook up to this. So if you want to just kind of putt around the old swap meet or something, you can kind of put her in low gear there and just let the clutch out and kind of idle along. Because the way these mowers are designed, they're designed to just run wide open, and you just let the clutch out and you just kind of go where she goes. When you hit tall grass, she bogs down a little, she speeds back up, but we'll tackle that later. We noticed that this has been broken. As you can see, this is long here, and this side down here is a lot shorter. This has been busted off over years and years and years of use, and somebody's ground this down, probably my grandpa, and fixed this and repaired it multiple times. You can see that up here on the frame too. When we were pulling this deck apart, every bolt on here was a different size, because it's obviously, these are bicycle tubes, because whatever was there originally is long gone. I'm going to leave the bicycle tubes in there because my grandpa used to use bicycle tubes to make, gaskets like that. He used to use them to make rubber bands. I mean, he reused and repurposed everything. So we noticed there's some grease certs. If you look up here, there's some grease certs missing here and over here, and there's a couple on the rear end missing. We were kind of kicking around. I wonder what happened to those. My assumption is Grandpa needed them for something. He probably put this in that van, and then later on he needed a grease cert, and what do? You go dig one off of something you're not using anymore. So I'll see if I can find some grease certs to put in there, and then we'll re-grease this front end before we go to Chicago on this thing. So on the back here, we've got this all tore apart. We got the rear end removed, and then we've got the brackets. This is the pipe. It goes on the frame where it's busted here. And so we kind of figured out kind of what we want to do. This pipe has been collapsed over time. There's supposed to be a bolt through here, but there was no bolt. We don't plan on using this to mow a lot. We may do the little mow in the backyard or something just for fun, just, you know, to do something without tearing it up and breaking it or whatnot. So I don't think we necessarily need that bolt again. We'll put all the other bolts back in with the deck, and then it'll all be pretty good. We measured the inside of there, hunted around, and we found an old concrete form stake, and it's pretty damn close to the right size. This pipe is collapsed a little bit from the bolts being tightened up in it a time or two. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to use the old step drill we got from the old Harbor Freight. You can use any step drill you want. I'm just cheap, so I got Harbor Freight step drills, and they seem to work all right for me. We'll hog this out a little bit, maybe put a clamp on there and clamp her down, try and make her a circle again, enough that we can pound this in there, and then we'll cut it off with the angle grinder. I'm going to drill a couple of cross holes, probably across this way and down that way. Then when we pound this in here, we can weld it, spot weld it in there so it can't really move. And then we'll do the same here. We'll drill a hole through and a hole through, and then we'll pound this on the other side. And once we get that in there, that'll be solid. We can weld those holes shut, and then we'll just weld that all the way around, solid weld that. We'll grind it down. I'm not a professional welder, so I use my grinder to make me look good. And we'll get that done. This will be solid then. This will never break again. The other side will probably break on my son, and then he'll have to watch this video and learn how to do it just like everybody else. But yeah, and then we'll bolt this baby back together. And yeah, so anyway, we'll toss it in the other mode there, and you guys can watch that process kind of go down, and then we'll stop again when we get to another stopping point. So see you in a few. Alright guys, we're back. It's pouring down rain outside. We don't care, we're nice and dry. We've been working a little bit. I'm sure you guys are going to watch the video. So we bolted this all back together. We decided that we had to put this on here to kind of line everything up. We put a solid rod down through this side, and then we welded this all up. If you can see right here. We got this all welded up good. Good enough. And then we decided while we had it all apart, we pulled these bolts out of this side over here. We did the same thing. We drove a solid rod down through here, and then we drilled this out, and we're going to put a bolt through here. So this whole section here is solid, because this is obviously the weakest link, and we didn't want it to bust on this side because we fixed this side. I thought about it, and I'm like, what do I need to do with this weld to make it right? And I thought my grandpa wouldn't have done anything to it. He'd have just welded this up and then put it back together, and he'd have been mowing. And I thought, you know, that's probably what I should do, but I just can't do that. I gotta do something, right? So, that's a shaker can. She's black. We'll give her this. Now, a better guy probably would have prepped that a little bit, but I'm guessing that noise I heard when I was welding, that killed all the bacteria that's going to keep that paint from adhering to that metal properly, and it's just going to be perfect. And if it's not, hey, 1,000 times better than it would have been if I wouldn't have done it. So we're going to pause this video here, and we'll put her back on the time lapse for you guys. We're going to bolt this back together, and yeah, we may have this thing running here before long. I think I say we just bolt her back together and grease up the chain. Make sure we got gear oil in the transmission there, and hey, see if this thing will fire up. If it'll fire up, then we make a plan from there. So we'll keep you posted here in just a few. See you in a couple. Hey guys, we're back. Sorry the phone died on us, our battery died. We've been recording a bunch today, trying to get this video done for you guys. So we tossed the phone on the charger and we got this thing bolted back together. We got it all welded up. I'll figure out how much of that you guys saw in a little bit when I go back and re-edit these. But I think this thing turned out really cool. Check this thing out. We got the seat all mounted up, we got the chain tight, we got new gear lube in the transmission here, and I think it looks super cool. That is definitely 50s, 60s, just, it screams it. Super cool. I pulled the air cleaner off because I thought, hey, let's check out the air cleaner. Because it sat on its side for so long, this thing is completely disintegrated. Look at that. I mean, you just touch it, it just crumbles, so it's a good thing we didn't try and, I don't know, start it with that piece of shit in there. I happen to know that these, this style air cleaner is still readily available. I'll head to my local TSC, Rural King, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever you want to go. I'm going to go to one of those and I'm going to grab us a new air cleaner as soon as I can and get it slapped on there. We're going to try and get it running without it, just to see if it'll run. I went to pull the spark plug out to clean it up real quick, and I'll show you what I found. So I came over here, slapped the old spark plug wrench on there, and it was loose. So I pulled my spark plug out. It's still painted the same color as the engine, so I know already it's the original spark plug. And then, if you get real close and you look here, it's got anti-seize on it, which means when my grandfather tore this apart and put it in that van, the engine was probably still good, and he didn't want this spark plug to seize up in the block, so he put anti-seize on it and just hand tightened it in there. And put fresh oil in it like we talked about earlier so that everything would be nice and kosher for the next guy. So thank you, Grandpa. I love you. Even though, yeah, it's just, yeah, that's classic my grandpa. So anyway, we're going to toss this spark plug back in there. I'm going to clean it up with a wire brush a little bit, toss it in there. We'll see if we got spark, and maybe fire this thing up here in a minute. So we'll see you in just a second. Hey guys, all right, we're back. So, little update on what we got going on. So we got everything all bolted together. It actually looks like a mower. It's super cool. Just as cool as I thought it would be. It's got the little fenders on the back here, the little trailer hitch, and we got our seat. We took a couple pictures. We were posing on this thing like Madonna or something, except not old and, you know, plastic. But anyway, yeah, super cool. Really liking it. We pulled the rope a couple of times. We're not getting any sparks. So we pulled the top of the engine off here, and the coil's super gross. We cleaned the flywheel off, knocked all the rust off of that real quick, and pulled the rope a couple more times. We still didn't get any sparks. So I'm guessing that the coil's bad. So I got the part number and everything off the engine. We're gonna order some parts for it, see if we can't get some spark. It's got really good compression, like we talked about earlier, and the spark plug's good. So I think if we can get some spark, we can get this thing to come alive. We got about a week and a half before the Memorial Day parade. Hopefully I can get it running before that, and then order a little trailer that we can pull behind it with, I don't know, beer cooler, candy cooler, whatever we want to do. Yeah, and get it going from there. We'll keep you guys updated. There will definitely be another video on this cool little mower. Maybe mowing with it, maybe who knows what. What do you guys want us to do? Put it in the comments. I know this is going to be a long video and kind of drawn out. I'm starting to make a little bit longer videos, or trying to anyway. So let me know what I can do to make things better for you guys. Make it more interesting. I enjoy watching my own videos and laughing at myself for being retarded. So, I mean, stupid. But anyway, yeah, hit me up. Let me know what you think about the mower. Whether you think we should do something else with it. I don't know. Can it pull a wheelie? I don't know. It's freaking heavy. This thing is heavy. I don't know. You'd have to really soup up a Predator to make this thing pull a damn hole shot. But anyway, I think it's cool. Maybe put a beer holder or a little coffee cup holder out here on the front, so you can just chill like this and cruise around town drinking a coffee, head downtown, get a biscuit and some gravy. I don't know. What do you guys think? All right, peace. Till next time.